Hello, and welcome to the Archives. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the next data pack cycle in the Red Sands, or the next data pack in the Red Sands cycle. Free Mars. At least I believe that's what it's called. I'll double check, and if I'm right, you'll see something pop up on screen here right about now. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be going and taking a look at this data pack because it looks super interesting. There's some rather fun little things kicking around in this one. I've kind of poked around at a couple of the cards a bit. So let's jump right in and take a look at some of the cards. Here we have Mars for Martians. It is an Anarch event priority. So you can play it only as your first click. Only as your first click. 0 credits to play, 1 influence only. So this can get splashed around a lot. Draw 1 card for every installed clan resource. Gain 1 credit for each tag you have. Flavor text of, "We don't want you, we don't need you." Now that looks interesting. This is definitely one of those cards that is used for people that are floating tags and relying heavily on the clan resources that have been popping up in the Red Sand cycle. The more of those you have, the more cards you get. The more tags you have, the more money you get. And it only costs a click, the first click to play. No credits. That's not a bad little card. Definitely I can see it being useful in some decks. For sure, like I said, the ones that are floating tags, definitely useful. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next. Here we have God of War, Icebreaker AI Virus. 4 credits to install, 1 memory unit cost, 0 strength, 3 influence on this beast. 3 influence. We have the, when your turn begins, you may take 1 tag to place 2 virus counters on God of War. Hosted virus counter, break ice subroutine. 2 credits plus 1 strength. Has the flavor text of subtle. You don't really understand the point of all this, do you? Alice Merchant. I played as Alice Merchant in the last tournament that I was in. She seems kind of fun. Didn't get a chance to use her ability too much because as soon as the people saw that I was playing her, they were like immediately ice up archives. Ice up archives. But this one gives you a tag at the beginning of every turn to put virus counters on it. So you take tags, and if you're playing the Anarch that likes to float tags, then you just keep them. Or you have a card in play that lets you get rid of tags. Maybe Aaron Marone. Then you get your virus counters put up on this, and you can break ice subroutines. However, this is virus counters, which lets you break the ice subroutine. So all the corp has to do is purge virus counters, and you lose them all. So I'm not 100% sure how useful that would be. I could still see it being good, and love the art with the red mohawk for Ares up there. God of War, of course. The big spear. Yeah, this looks kind of cool. I can definitely see this, as I said, being useful in a floating tag deck because this just gives you tags every turn. Okay. On to the next. We've got Leave No Trace. It is an event run for criminals. 2 credits to play, 3 influence. Make a run. When the run ends, derez all ice that was rezzed during this turn. Flavor text of, the perfect run is when you get in, take something of value, and get back out with no one knowing you've ever been there. Guru. Now, this card right here, this card, I think, I'm going to have to put into my Laramie deck that I made, my Laramie mill deck. Because you make a run, and if you're making a run on a server that has potent ice that hasn't been rezzed, let's say like 3 things of ice that haven't been rezzed, the corp can res it. They can res the ice, and if you get past it, they res another one. You get past that, they res the other one. And regardless of whether the run is successful or not, all the money that they just spent resing this ice to maybe keep you out gets derezzed. So that puts them in the position of, do I waste this money now or do I just let them in? That can be very handy, especially in some of my decks that don't run a lot. So the ice is like a derez, and they like build up this scoring remote, put in an agenda in it, and then you're like, I play this. And they got to look at their money and go, do I waste all this money rezzing things to keep them out? Especially if I've already got the breakers and the money to get through. Yeah. Yeah, I like this one a lot. This looks like a super fun little run event. Definitely going to be slotting that in. Okay, on to the next. Here we have Rip Deal. 3 credits to play run event, 1 influence only. So this can get splashed around a lot more than Leave No Trace. Make a run on HQ. If successful, when you would access any number of cards from HQ, you may instead add that many cards from your heap to your grip. Remove Rip Deal from the game instead of trashing it. This would also go well in my Laramie deck. Especially with is it Gang Sign? No, Gang Sign is, I think Gang Sign is when the corp scores an agenda, I can access a card from HQ. I think. I'll have to double check on that. But it would still be good, especially with like HQ interface. Yeah. I can deal with that for sure. Okay. Definitely looks like a good one. It works well for recursion, but it has to be a run event. Costs a click and 3 credits to play, and you have to be successful and access cards from HQ. So to make it truly effective, you need to be having multiple accesses. And it's a run event, so you can't combine it with another run event, like, I don't know, legwork. Yeah. Still, can be useful. Definitely with HQ interface, though, I think. Definitely with that one. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Flashbang. It is a program icebreaker killer. 5 credits to res, or to install. 1 memory unit cost, 0 strength, and 3 influence. 6 credits, de-res a sentry currently being encountered. 1 credit plus 1 strength. Someone named Revenant in the flavor text saying, it's my sentry cheat sheet. Now, I don't know. I'm going to double check here real quick, because I has a feeling that there may have been a ruling on this particular card already. So we're going to go and check the Flashbang. Okay. Yep. Does Flashbang have to match the strength of a sentry in order to de-res it? Yes. De-resing is a form of interacting with a piece of ice, and icebreakers must match strength to interact with ice. Huh. So that's the only ruling that is popped up on Netrunner DB. And somebody has done a complete breakdown of how much it's going to cost to match strength and de-res a card. There's like tables and percentages and stuff somebody's done in a review. Huh. But I think D-Res a sentry currently being encountered. So I think what happens is, they don't mention it here, but I think you come up to a sentry, if it's resed or unresed. If it's unresed, they res it. It's a sentry. If it's already resed, you encounter the sentry. At the encounter stage, that is when you interact with the ice in order to break subroutines. But instead of breaking subroutines, you boost up the strength of a flashbang. You pay your 6 credits to de-res it. So you de-res it, but you're already in the encounter phase. So you're past the point where the corp can res that ice again. So they res it, and you just de-res it and walk past. 6 is pretty expensive, and as I said, they've got this whole thing out here. Yeah, for strength 0, it costs 6 to de-res it. For strength 1, it costs 7. Strength 2 costs 8. Strength 3, it costs 9. Strength 4, it costs 10. And then 11, 12, 13, and 14 for all up to a strength 8. So, that's pretty costly to de-res a piece of ice. But it depends on how you want to do it. I mean, if it is a high cost sentry to res, it may cost you a lot, but you're also making the corp broke too. I don't know. I don't know how good this is, but it definitely looks interesting. And you could combine this with en passant to then trash it because you passed that ice. There's ways and means to make this interesting and useful. Yeah. All right, on to the next. Here we have Lean and Mean. It is a shaper card. You can see a some lady. I think that's a lady. Looks like a lady working on a laptop on a little dune buggy thing outside of a dome on Mars. 2 credits to play, run event, make a run. If you have 3 or fewer programs installed, all icebreakers have +2 strength during this run. One influence. Cabonessa Wu says, the question isn't should I do it, the question is can I do it. That might be Cabonessa Wu then on the card. Be kind of interesting if it is. So 3 fewer programs installed. 3 or fewer. So if you only have your breaker suite, just a killer, a decoder, and a fractor. If you just have those 3 installed, you can play this and boost all their strength by 2. I like that a lot. I do. That makes it handy for with a certain breaker suite that I was running in my Alice Merchant deck, which was Nefer, Mimic, and Yogg. Because Mimic and Yogg are only strength 3, Nefer starts at strength 1 and is slowly boosted. and I had dedicated processors in that deck to put specifically on those 3 cards to boost them. But then you have this card, so you just have those 3 installed, you make a run, they're all plus 2 strength. So it's all 3, 5, and 5 then, which makes things a lot interesting for this run. I like it. I like this card a lot. Yeah. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Maven. Ooh, hello. Maven has 4 arms, like Adept and Savant and Sage. And she's a Shaper too, or he's a Shaper possibly, that is, Icebreaker AI. 2 memory units, 5 credits to install, 0 strength, and 3 influence. Maven has +1 strength for each installed program. 2 credits to break ice subroutine. Hello. So if you use Degdeers, you put a Degdeer down, you put a, let's see, Degdeer and an Adept, and a Degdeer and another Breaker, possibly even Maven, then, I wonder. Let me check. I want to see if there's a ruling on this one. No ruling yet. And people have done a complete breakdown on cost with percentages and everything. Oh my god. That is way more than I want to get into things. But there is no rulings on Maven yet. Because I'm wondering if Maven includes itself as an installed program. That's what I'm wondering. So if Maven includes itself as an installed program, you've got a Degdeer and, let's say, an Adept on it. You've got a Degdeer and a Maven on it. That's 4 programs installed right then and there. Because a Degdeer is a program daemon, I believe. I believe it is a program daemon. We will check. Yes, program daemon. So both Degdeers count as a program. Your Adept counts as a program, and I think your Maven counts as a program once it's installed. It counts itself because it says Maven has +1 strength for each installed program. Maven is an installed program, so that would make Maven start at strength 4 at that point. And if you have another Degdeer and a Magnum Opus on it, Maven starts at strength 6. And you still haven't used memory units, which makes it good for deep data mining. Yeah. Strength 6 AI Breaker could definitely be handy. You'd have to double check and see which either Adept, Savant, or Sage, which one you wanted to throw into your deck, depending on which breakers have the least, which ice has the least amount of subs. Probably barriers, maybe? I don't know. But definitely, he, I don't know if it's a he or a she. I think it's a she, just from the name of Maven. But, yeah. Definitely going to have to look at that. Is it? Wait a minute. The glowy red stuff on here, is that... Does that look like a winky smiley face to you? No, those are a set of scales and a sword and a glowy ball. So that's probably some sort of mythology reference then. Oh well. On to the next. Here we have Nanotk. Nanot K. Nanot K. Nanot K? I don't know how to pronounce that. Nanot K, we'll say. I guess. It is a program icebreaker killer. 4 credits to install, 1 memory unit cost, 1 strength, 1 influence. During each run, Nanot K has +1 strength for each piece of ice protecting the attacked server. 1 credit to break a sentry subroutine, and 3 credits for +2 strength. Anyone can hit someone where they are weakest, Songe Galaxy. And it looks like a whole bunch of buggies coming in to attack some dude on the artwork. I kind of like this one, because if you're hitting something that has a big, like 3 or 4 pieces of ice, that's 3 to 4 to the strength. So I like that. Because then you don't have to spend the 3 credits to boost it. Because that 3 credits for +2 strength is not good. But in the right circumstances, this becomes pretty potent. I mean, a +4 strength, so a 5 strength sentry breaker without having to spend money just for making a run. Yeah, I can handle that. All right, on to the next. Here we have Blue Moose. It is a unique resource location CD, 4 credits to install, 0 influence, neutral card. When your turn begins, you may remove 1 card in the heap from the game. If you do, gain 2 credits. Talk is free. Anything else is going to cost you. Jittish. I think that's Jittish. Now, Blue Moose, I've heard the term Blue Moose before, and I can't remember where. But this could be handy. You're taking cards out of your heap from the game, but if it's cards you're not going to use, it could get you money as need be. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that quite a lot. All right, on to the next. Here we have O2 shortage. We're into the corp cards now. 3 credits to play Operation. 2 influence from Hospiroid. Operation. The runner may trash 1 card from his or her grip at random. If he or she does not gain 2 clicks. Oh, wow. Flavor text from Gregory 3D3R6Z. Is the lack of oxygen causing distress, friend? the Bioroid working here and the poor humans having to rely on oxygen. Aww. Lack of oxygen. I like this. You're like, trash a card from your grip at random. You don't. I get 2 clicks. Thank you so much. Yeah. If they've got a thing like a hand that they don't want to lose cards from, you could play this and get 2 clicks, 3 credits. It's basically a biotic labor for a little cheaper. And it costs the corp, or costs the runner, a card if they don't want you to have it. I can dig with that. Ooh, hello. What is this? Here we have Helheim servers. Good old Helheim. More Norse mythology from the Hospiroid. It is a unique upgrade facility. 2 credits to res, 3 to trash, 1 influence. Trash 1 card from HQ. All ice protecting the server has +2 strength until the end of the run. Use this ability only during a run on this server. Okay. This looks amazing. If you have a scoring remote set up with this in it, and the runner is coming in, and you want to protect you want to keep them out, and they've got it down to the penny as to how much it's going to cost to get in. If they're like, I have just enough to get in, you trash a card, boost it to +2 strength, or you trash 2 cards and boost it to +4 strength. Because this doesn't say only use it once per turn. You can trash as many cards from HQ as you want to boost the strength until the end of the run. Yeah. This is going in my HB decks. I think this is going to go in my Helheim, or not my Helheim, my Sadar deck that I'm going to make. Because this looks fun. I like this. And the imagery looks nice too. You got all this blue, looks like ice almost, with all the red lights. And it's like going off forever. Yeah. Yeah, I dig this. I dig this a lot. Alright, on to the next. Ooh, Jinteki. Here we have mandatory seed replacement. And agenda security. 4 credits to advance. 2 agenda points. When you score mandatory seed replacement, rearrange any number of ice protecting all servers. So, if you are playing with Jinteki and you've got your ice out not in order, you score this, you can rearrange it to you can rearrange all your ice protecting all servers. You don't have to keep them the same amount of ice on each one either. You can move them around as need be to make them more effective. Flavor text of, as you'll see on page 276, section CDXXIX, paragraph 47, line 102 of your contract, you are overdue for your seed upgrade, and all growth from out-of-date seed is to be confiscated and destroyed. Huh. Interesting. But I can see Jinteki doing that. They're all about the bioengineering. And it looks like 3 clones doing the mandatory seed replacing on this. I like this. This is a nice little thing. Especially with Jinteki and its positional ice. Yeah. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Water Monopoly. We've got water coming down in this cavern. There is some sort of a facility here with Jinteki's logo on it. It is a 3 credit to advance, 1 agenda, point agenda, initiative. The install cost of each non-virtual resource is increased by 1. So you get that scored, you make it more costly for them to have non-virtual resources. Which makes sense flavor text or flavor wise, because it's on Mars, and if you control the water, you control pretty much everything. Ag Infusion doesn't just have patents on nearly every plant seed that is farmed on Mars. They own most of the rights to the water that the farms use. So they're pretty powerful up there on Mars. Yeah. I like this one too. There's a specific deck that mandatory seed replacement and water monopoly can get in. I'm pretty sure of it. So yeah. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Metamorph. An Ice Code Gate Observer. 3 credits to res, 4 strength, 3 influence, 1 subroutine of swap 2 other installed pieces of ice, or 2 of your installed non-ice cards. My gift to runners, Isomorphic Architectural Protocols. Ichiban Daikirai Da, Midori. Oh, Midori. And this has a wonderful image that is basically the big painting about God reaching down to touch man who's reaching up. It's on one of the chapels over in Italy, but God was not a pink blood monster. So yeah, I kind of like this one. If this fires off, if the runner lets it fire off, because it's not going to stop anything. But if it fires off, you could move an agenda out of harm's way from their run. This definitely in Ag Infusion makes for some fun times. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Data Loop. NBN Ice Barrier. 7 credits to res, 4 strength, 2 influence. When the runner encounters Data Loop, he or she must add 2 cards from his or her grip to the top of the stack. End the run if the runner is tagged. End the run. So for a barrier, not bad. I love the when encounter ability. This card is one that I thought about including in my entertaining encounters deck, which I talked about last time. But I ended up not, because the Free Mars data pack was not out yet. Otherwise, this would have been in, because, yeah, go ahead, put 2 cards on your stack. You have to. You have to. That can be a big tempo hit for the runner. If they have to take cards that they have in hand, put it on the top of the stack, that's preventing them from getting at other cards that they may be looking for and digging for when they've got to pull these cards back into their hand again. Yeah, I like Data Loop a lot. I really do. Okay, on to the next. We have Bias Reporting. And who's this in the card? It's Lily Lockwell. In the background, you see this something on the screen with I'm not sure what that first word is, but then it's like, who's to blame? Biased reporting indeed. It is an operation, 2 credits. To play, 3 influence. Choose resource, hardware, or program. The runner may trash any of his or her installed cards of that type and gain 1 credit for each card trashed. You gain 2 credits for each installed card of the chosen type. So if they've got a bunch of resources down, or a bunch of programs or hardware down, you can play this and pick the one that has the most. And then they're in the position of, if I don't trash, let's say they had 6 resources installed. I've played players that have had that many. They get 6 resources installed, you play this card. They then have to be like, do I trash any of these resources and gain a single credit for each one, even though these resources may be providing me with more? Or do I not trash any and the corpse suddenly gains 12 credits? It can be a thing. Or with programs, if they've got like 3 or 4 or 5 programs out, you play this and it's like, I don't want to trash any of my programs. Yeah, I like this one for NBN quite a lot. This, I think, is going to go in my entertaining encounters deck. Yeah. All right, on to the next. Here we have Open Forum. Wayland card. It is an asset. 1 credit to res, 1 influence, 3 trash cost. After your mandatory draw, reveal the top card of R&D and add it to HQ. Add 1 card from HQ to the top of R&D. Mandy Trot, please speak freely. I've been tasked by the board itself to hear your grievances. Flavor-wise, I like this. This is very thematically appropriate. Because this is Wayland being like, this is an open forum, everything is above board, which is why you do your mandatory draw as your corp, but then you're like, I revealed the top card, and it's in my hand, and I'm putting something back. So you know a card that I've taken off the deck. You know something that's in my hand every turn. But it also allows the corp to control what's on the top of the deck, which can be uh, useful, especially if you have like an ambush or something that triggers from R&D. If you pull it, you can put it on the top of the deck. It's going to be your mandatory draw as long as you leave it there every turn. So the corpse or the runner's not going to see that one. They'll see the next one, and then you just put that trap back on R&D, and you just keep putting it back on R&D. So it's always there if the runner makes a run. I kind of like it. I kind of like this card. It's of course has to trigger every turn, which you may not want to do, so you may want to get rid of it, but it has a place. I think it does. Alright, on to the next. Here we have Tithonium, an ice barrier destroyer. 9 credit res, 5 strength, 2 influence. You may forfeit an agenda to res Tithonium instead of paying its res cost. Oh. Okay. I can see this being good in Jemison, for sure. Because you forfeit an agenda to res it, and because you forfeited an agenda, Jemison's thing triggers, which lets you put advancement counters on things. Yeah. So you can forfeit the agenda, an agenda to res Tithonium, instead of paying the res cost of 9, which is pretty hefty. Tithonium cannot host cards, which means that it is immune to Parasite and Egret, and I believe there's another card that can be, another runner card that can be hosted on it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but you can't host those cards on it. Now there are some cards that the Corp has, which has the text on it, when install this card on a piece of ice as a hosted condition counter. If it says that, then when the card is installed on a piece of ice, the card stops being a card and becomes a hosted condition counter. It's not considered a card until it's trashed to archives or otherwise removed. So it's not a card then. So the Corp has stuff that it can do with Tithonium, but this this does not. Parasite will not affect this card, which I like. It has 3 subroutines: Trash One Program, Trash One Program, Trash One Resource, and End the Run. So not only is this horrible to face check for a barrier destroyer, oh, brutal, but the this can still be derezzed, but it's hard for them to trash it with a Parasite. I like it a lot. Okay, on to the next. Here we have Transparency Initiative. 0 credit operation, 4 influence. Turn an agenda face up and install Transparency Initiative on that agenda as a hosted condition counter with the text, host agenda gains public. Whenever you advance host agenda, gain a credit. So you can then start advancing cards for free, because you have to pay a credit to advance it, but you get a credit back. I like this. I like this a lot. It lets you advance things and not have to worry about losing your money. Yeah, I dig this a lot. All right, on to the last card. We have Rover Algorithm. It is an operation, neutral, no influence, 2 credits to play. Install Rover Algorithm on a rezzed piece of ice as a hosted condition counter with the text, host ice has +1 strength for each power counter on Rover Algorithm. Whenever the runner passes host ice, place 1 power counter on Rover Algorithm. So whether they're bypassing the ice or whether they're breaking the subroutines of it to get past, this is still boosting the strength for it. And it's got a rather badass looking picture of a dog on it too. I like this one. This, I think, will have to go in a deck or two of mine. It is pretty cool. I need to pick the deck up first. The data pack first. But yeah, I like this particular one. So that's going to be it for this data pack, Free Mars. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. And throw a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Free Mars. What do you think of the cards in this particular data pack? I am excited to play around with some of it. Definitely, for sure. I kind of want to do Maven and have some fun with her and some of the others, because I have a feeling that that's what that means. But I'm going to check with the boys and see what they have to say. So do all that. And until next time, my friends, remember, keep running.